All right, welcome back, folks. Picking up where we started off, if I remember correctly. Got this door situated pretty good. Pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I would like to go up just a little bit. It's always just a little bit, right? A little bit more. The theme of this week's video is an old phrase. Maybe we should sleep on it. Sometimes when you have a big decision, you certainly should sleep on it. Maybe even some of the smaller decisions. This decision is the classic, and I'm going to bounce you around because I have all three trucks in the shop today. And I can show you the classic issue that I see on all of them. Next time I go to a car and truck show, I'm going to pay more attention to these. I'm usually overwhelmed with all the fun stuff. So shaving this door, I know people have done. I've seen it on videos plenty of times, different ways to do it. I've never seen the way I wanted to do it was to cut this right across the seam and tip these both down because both of these rails need trimmed at the top. But I thought if nobody's doing it, maybe there's a reason. I don't care if it's harder. I just want to know what I'm going to run into. So I thought I'd sleep on it, work on something else. Brought in this, did a little maintenance on the 72. And I woke up one morning and I thought, I don't know, it might not even work. I'll have to try it on a junk door or on my next truck or something. The Darren's idea. If you do that, chop it in two pieces and move those bars down, the upper rail and the forward rail here, which would be the A pillar, but on the door. If you pull those together, this is going to drop slightly. I don't think that's going to be an issue. But let's think about our windows, what we're doing to those. If we dip this top down, I believe the window will still seal fine. There's a little room when it enters into the rubber seal. I don't know if you've ever had a window and you just roll it down a little bit, it doesn't make any difference. But then a little more, you get the whistle wind noise. So I think that would be okay. The front one, that's a different story because your triangle window here is screwed right tight to this, I'm going to call it A pillar, even though it's not, but the A pillar of the door. And if you screw right tight to that, that's not giving you any movement. And it's going to tilt that corner window in a little bit. Again, I don't think it's going to affect the corner window one bit. It has its own frame, so that window's not going to change. But what we have done, or will have done, is tilted this straight up and down part of the glass slightly forward, and the window might pinch here at the top. So I'm going to have to do one, put all the window seals in it, and give it a try before I go doing Tom's door. Let's not go over the top and worry about this on this particular truck, or maybe ever. Let's just do the classic door trim idea. Get this door done. Now I could, and I kind of wanted to do this all week. I could start assembling the front end off of this door because I'm not really going to adjust it. Now, once I trim it, I might just tilt it up the slightest bit to the top. But I don't want to keep putting painted parts on because I'm going to have to weld and repaint this part. Now, welding is probably the biggest problem. I certainly don't want any weld spatter on this windshield. The top, I haven't painted it yet, so that pays off, but I don't want to have to redo anything because I have burn marks in it. And then the door, I certainly don't want any hot sparks on the door. So I'm going to have to do 2 welding blankets minimum right now. I only have one, but I'll grab another or borrow one from Tom. So that's what's going to happen in the future on this door. I'm going to shave the outsides of these rails, and we're going to get that put together and keep rolling. Moving on to what I'm doing right now, until I get to this, there's some things that have been bothering me on a Spanish Gold 1971 C10. Actually, here I go jumping around, but while we're here, I'm going to tackle this dipstick today. It's the transmission dipstick, I believe, is leaking at the transmission. I think it's just an O-ring on this one, but some of them actually have a seal. So we're going to get to that in just a minute. But I do want to just take a second and show you a few of these doors. So a little shop tour and a little jiggling around. This would be my best one. 1971 C10 in Spanish Gold. But as far as years go, I don't think that makes a difference. On this door, I got a decent gap at the front, and an even decent gap, maybe even a little large here at the front. So that's the best door I've got. I didn't even remember it being that good. That's not the best closing door I have, but the best ceiling door, or what do you want to call it? So on this door, it's not shut yet. This is the kind of seam that I'd like. Now it still tapers from the bottom up to the top. It gets a little closer, but perfection isn't the issue here. This is a good gap, but I haven't closed the door yet. Let's close the door. Oops, sorry. Let's see, this door closes firmly too. Really? All right, anyway. Yeah, that's what I don't like. But it's just, I don't think it's touching, but it's just about touching. The gap at the top is straight, level, decent. At the back is good. We got this goofiness here, but again, my argument, the windows are all tilted too back, or the A-pillars tilted too far back. It's a GM thing. You already seen the white truck, so let's go ahead and just look at the green truck real quick. 72, almost completely original. I mean, there might be things I don't know about, but everything I've touched on this truck has been original. I mean, not heater hoses and stuff. So this gap, best closing door I have, this gap is right, I mean, I bet it's touching. I'm going to open the door and look. It doesn't rattle when you're driving it, but it looks like it's going to touch. Now, I'll show you how this door closes. It's impressive. No, there's no paint missing, but it is, you couldn't put a piece of paper between it. But this is how this door shuts on its own. I probably slammed it harder than I need to. That thing closes so good. A lot of times I'll open the door and I'll just walk away, and just the weight of the door will shut it completely. All right, last one, and we'll get to work on that dipstick. I'm a dipstick sometimes. Can you see this one? Let me peek in the viewfinder. It's too much backlight. But this one's right tight too. Take my word for it. This door shuts again. This one is not bad. It's a little sticky. I've oiled it a million times, but it doesn't shut hard. All right, enough about door gaps. The next time you see a door gap, that's going to be welded up, hopefully repainted. Now, I didn't discuss the repaint. I will real quick. Then we're going to move to that dipstick. Repainting this is not going to be a big deal because you have a seam where the metal goes into the door on both bottoms. So all I got to do is repaint this door rail. I don't have to do any of the door itself or anything else. That's a simple repaint. So no trouble at all. Shaving that's going to be no problem. There's your shop tour. If you're looking around, you got a lot to see. I'm going to sneak in here. I mean, I don't know. I don't like doing things you can't see, but I want to just do this one in front of you because it's not that big of a deal. I've been avoiding it all year. I don't even know why. So there's one bolt. All I did was break it loose with this. There's only one bolt holding this. It's just one of them. You can't really reach it, but I mean, you can. It's a transmission bolt. I guess you'd call it. Holds transmission to the motor. And they just use that bolt with an eyelet. And I'll get it out in a second. So it's simple. One bolt is all it's holding it. I just don't know how well it's held in the transmission. We'll do it together. We'll see. Come on. Long-winded thing, too. All right. I think I replaced these with new bolts, too. Let's see. Yes, I did. Number 8 hardened bolt with a washer. So that should be it. The dipstick should be able to be wiggled and pulled right out of there. Come on. Oh, I didn't tell you about this. Breather. I might talk about that in a minute. Feels loose. I don't want to come out of there, though. Oh, it did. I probably should have pulled the dipstick first, but what's it matter? All right. That's all there is to it. Don't be afraid. No, I wish I'd done it sooner. Lo and behold, O-ring. And it doesn't look bad. I didn't bring a towel. There's one right behind me. I say it don't look bad. Does looks tell you anything about an O-ring? Probably not. I like to look at them, see if they're cracked or flat on one side. This one's just the O-ring style. Oh, it looks fine to me. Plenty wet around there. We're putting a new one on either way. I might have actually replaced this myself, but yeah, we'll give her a whirl. Oh, I don't know. Should I just get an O-ring? It actually feels like it's oversized. It came out of there kind of difficult. I'll just replace that and stick it back in and let you guys know how it worked. But that's how easy those come out. No troubles. As far as the breather goes, this breather, it works fine. I'll shut that off. This is one of them. This is an off brand. Don't even have a name on it. But they just, basically there's a thick filter in there, if you will. So when you get any crankcase pressure, it puts that supposedly just air, but there's oil vapor in it through this breather, if you will. The problem with this side, and there's one on both sides, the other one happens to be an Edelbrock. I don't know if you can see it over here. This one never leaks anything out of it at all. It's dry. My finger's already wet from this one. But every time I get into full throttle or even very heavy throttle, this one will mist out enough oil that it'll get down on the manifold and you'll smell a little burning oil. Eventually it's going to get cakey and crusty and nasty looking. I don't want that. So I'm going to put in one of these. Positive crankcase ventilation, PCV valve. These are a one-way valve, which I am not a carburetor guy. I don't understand this stuff. I would have just put a hose up into the bottom of the air cleaner on the filtered side, and any vapor could get sucked back into the motor and burned, and that's better than dripping on the ground. But these only allow one-way direction. What I mean is it allows the vapor out of the valve cover, but it wouldn't let it go back in. I don't understand that purpose. If I got oil coming up into the carburetor area and it doesn't need to go through the carburetor, you could let it drain back down when you're not. I don't know why they stop it from going back in. You're not going to get any dirt in there. So when you don't understand something like me, it's good to look around to something else. I don't have to understand. I just have to get a pretty good feeling of what we're after. What I mean is I don't need a complete explanation of it. I just want to know the theory. Theory and operation. I know another guy talks about that. So let's go over here to something I know that runs good and works right. Stock valve covers, a PVC valve, that's actually the one I took out, comes into the base of the carburetor. Well, I don't like that. Why would I want my oil going into my carburetor area? And I don't understand what happens inside of a carburetor, so I would have just vented it to the air cleaner. Okay, that's different. Well, let's keep looking, figure out what we want to do. So we come to this side, because it has two. Over here, you can see one of the original clamps. They call these clamps, I forgot. There's a special name for this style clamp. I don't remember right now. Doggone it, teardrop? It doesn't matter. This is an original, or at least an original style clamp. So this has been on there a long time. It has a larger PVC. I always say PVC, it's PCV. It has a larger valve on it. I don't know if it does anything different. I don't really want to break any of that. But it leads to the filter base. That's how I would do it. But on the same truck, you got one going to the filter base and one going to the carburetor base. Yeah. Oh, I don't understand. I don't need to understand. What I've come up with looking at this is there's more than one option. This is an original option to go from like original equipment on the 72. Plus the later years, you tend to think they figured things out. So I'm going to go with this style on the 71. And it happens to be this back breather. So there might be something to. I've been in the engines. There's nothing different inside the motor. But for some reason, this one might, I don't know, be a reason that it has more vapor. So I'm going to follow this design and do this on the 71. So now you know what I'm up to on that. I just have to find a PVC. I said it again. Me and names and English and whatever. I'll probably sleep on it one more time. This has a rather large opening. You can measure these. I'm not the best at that, but you certainly don't want to drop that in there. They must make them that big, or I can buy a bigger grommet for that. So I'll be working on that. I'll get this dipstick tube with a bigger O-ring in it. It's the only thing I can think of. I wouldn't think you should put any kind of sealer around that, but if I have to, if a new O-ring don't work, I'll put some fancy windshield urethane on it. That'll seal it, I guarantee. Then I can wash this engine up for the year. So there's what I'm up to. You know what I'm after. You won't be seeing a whole lot more, talking a lot more about this driver door. I'm going to get it finished without you guys. You've looked at it enough, but a little bit of grinding, a little bit of welding, a little bit of painting, and then I can start assembling the front of this truck. It's been, I don't know, too many weeks. We're going to get the front of this, start get it put together. We can get the fenders on, we can get the header panel, all that put on. And then we'll get held up slightly because we'll have to put the other fender on, and that means we have to have the other door on. Again, tackling that door best I can when you guys don't have to watch me sand and paint. Touching on that door, this is the good door we bought. It's an original. It's a good door. I said I didn't want to mess with an original door, but I already know what a headache it is once it's on the vehicle. It would, I mean, it's actually chipped and beat up here from the last truck it was on. So I think it's the best plan is to come in here while it's right at comfortable level to work on. I don't have to worry about screening off half of what I own when I weld it. So I'm going to pre-shave this one. And with the experience that I'm having and sharing with you guys, we now know over and over that this front of the door, the A-pillar part of the door, top 3 inches is where it's always the closest. That's the way those A-pillars are built. So I'm going to come back 8 inches. I'm going to start shaving it nice and even all the way up. And I might just go maybe 3, 4, 5 thousandths at the most. Go a little heavy on that top 3 inches because it will look right. Even though it won't look right here, it'll look right when the door is closed. And then the top same way. We're gonna shave and taper that off. It's here, it's handy. We can sand around it really easily. That's going to be a little more, you know what I mean, uncomfortable. So there's what I've slept on and decided. Then we can start putting things together and quit talking about it and just do it already. All right, folks, that's all I got this week. We keep moving along, hunting season here in Michigan. So good luck to me and the boys. And I got to go. I haven't had trouble shutting this off in a while. See how it goes today. 1,